end, and he is one double-double away from number 70 in his storied Carolina career. Lehigh controls the opening tip. Officials this afternoon: Ron Groover, Doug Sermons, and Lee Cassell. Lehigh picked to finish second in the Patriot League behind Colgate. They turn it over, and R.J. Davis will orchestrate this Tar Heels offense to start. Davis and Bacot, both returning starters. The other three starters, all transfers. Ryan from Notre Dame, Ingram from Stanford, and Wojcik from Brown. Bacot posting up on Parolin. Gets the offensive rebound. Second chance, no good. Wojcik had it, and it was wrestled away by Sinclair. We get a held ball, possession arrow to UNC.
And interesting on that first possession, Lehigh decides not to double when the ball goes down low to Bacot. Let's see if they stay with that strategy as this game progresses.
I think they might have to switch that up. Bacot with those 2 offensive rebounds. Now the all-time leader at UNC in offensive rebounds. Getting past Tyler Hansbrough as Harrison Ingram, the Stanford transfer, gets past the Lehigh defense.
And speaking with the coaching staff, as you take a look at the Lehigh starting 5, they feel Ingram is an X-factor guy. And you know what Bacot brings, you know what Davis brings, but if he can give them that 3rd and 4th option offensively, they think that's going to be key for the success in their season.
Bacot picked up his first foul. And for Lehigh, this team is led by its backcourt. Keith Higgins and Tyler Whitney-Sydney, one of the top backcourts in the Patriot League. Parolin too easy. He had 16 in the opener against Cornell. Lehigh 0-2. Played on Friday, lost to Penn State.
That's beautiful offense by Lehigh. That time pick and roll. And the help side defense for North Carolina late.
Here's Higgins, Lehigh's top scorer a season ago. Now Jalen Sinclair. 55 and Brown, the point guard. Higgins from 15. Rebound Bacot already, 3 pulls. Wojcik, the Brown transfer, feeding Bacot a turnover. And here comes Tyler Whitney-Sydney. Nice move, nice feed inside, and Lehigh rewarded with the foul.
And you can see early on Lehigh, that time again, attacking the perimeter, trying to get the ball in the paint, and that's going to be key for North Carolina. Stopping dribble drives. Lehigh, they're picked to finish second in the Patriot League, and their strength is their backcourt. So that's going to be key this afternoon for North Carolina, in particular the perimeter players. They're going to have to keep these guys out of the paint.
We saw Monday against Radford as Bube Momo steps to the line. Radford, especially in that first half, was able to get inside the paint, get a lot of shots in the painted area. That game was close until North Carolina pulled away in the final 5-6 minutes. Here's Davis using the screen from Bacot. And he knocks it down, a 16-point per game score a season ago.
And that's all set up by Bacot's screen. When we spoke with Coach Hubert Davis, he said Bacot, yeah, everybody talked about his rebounding and his points, they should, but he's an excellent screener. That time he freed Davis up. Beautiful screen. That's something under talked about in his game. He sets excellent screens to set his teammates up.
Davis looking to push. Lehigh gets back. Big concern for the Mountain Hawks today, transition defense. Davis, separation, undercuts.
That's this beautiful offense in his rhythm. Cross to the right and then pull up.
Parolin from the outside, in and out. A rebound to Harrison Ingram. Former Pac-12 freshman of the year at Stanford, slips. Bacot calling for it down low.
Watch this matchup. Him and Parolin, they are banging around, and they're staying home on him. They're not helping.
Ryan left it a bit short. Here comes Tyler Whitney-Sydney. Blocked at the rim by Bacot. Comes back to Parolin. Wanting to shoot. Higgins had a 23-point game Friday against Penn State. into single digits. Higgins against Davis. Has a size advantage, turns, and another rebound. That is 5 already for Bacot. Here's Ryan, hesitation, off the window, and 2 shots coming.
And here, right, look at the cross to the right by Davis. That's his beautiful offense. Not bad D, but that's a guy that can get his shot off. And then the defense by Armando Bacot, that time on the help side, blocking the ball. And I think the key thing in that, kept the ball in play to try to give his team a chance to gain possession.
The last foul is on Bube Moma, the sophomore from Unionville, Connecticut, his first. Cormac Ryan, we saw him a lot in the ACC, Huck, when he played at Notre Dame. 25 years old, 12 points a game last season. Excellent defender. He also gives North Carolina 3-point shooting, an area they struggled in last year.
I think all those things check the box. Experience, a guy that can knock down threes, and I think underrated off the bounce as well, too. He's a guy that, like R.J. Davis, shot clock winding down. He's a guy that's not afraid to put it on the floor and play off the bounce. And you know, you look at that starting 5 that Hubert Davis went with, and those guys combined for over 450 games. So again, a lot of experience in that starting unit.
Well, we get our first look tonight at Elliot Cadeau, the freshman. A lot of expectations. He's a pass-first point guard. Higgins hits the jumper, and Cadeau, who controls. Reclassified to join this team a season early, so there was no waiting for Cadeau. He got there early.
Lehigh, one of the better guards in the Patriot League. That's a beautiful pull-up jumper. He's a guy that can definitely get it done on the offensive end, but right now, early on, North Carolina with the 3-point lead against Lehigh.
Auto Owners insures your car, because sometimes something from out of left field.
Your team looks like year in, year out in the age of the portal. Caleb Love, Leaky Black, Pete Nance, Puff Johnson, Dontrez Styles, among 7 transfers who left North Carolina. But transfer portal taketh, they also giveth.
Yeah, and I think I hit on it earlier, the experience that Coach Hubert Davis was able to bring in. Over 300 combined games for these guys right here alone as key transfers. I think the big one, though, for me, Cormac Ryan, you know what he's going to get. He's been around the ACC. A lot of guys know him, but I think Withers and Ingram, I think those 2 guys are kind of the X-factor guys. If they can give them production, in particular Withers coming off the bench, I think that's going to be key for North Carolina, in particular when you talk about depth and then Hubert Davis setting his rotation.
And Ryan, Withers, and Wojcik, 3 guys that can knock down the 3-point shot. Ingram is somebody who can defend pretty much any position on the court. A lot like Leaky Black, but more versatile offensively.
Yeah, and I think that's the key thing for the spacing. We talked about Bacot as we take a look at a 3 by Higgins. Again, I talked about it, one of the better guards in the Patriot League. That's a deep contested 3. And he's a guy that can fill it up. That's going to be key for North Carolina. They don't want to let him get it going early in this game.
The answer at the other end by Ingram on cue, the former McDonald's All-American who was originally recruited by Roy Williams.
Yeah, and again, great spacing. Lehigh right now, not doubling. Again, whether it's Bacot or Ingram, they're staying home, playing straight man-to-man. That's a beautiful spin move. Take the hit and finish.
Second foul on Moma. 3-point play, unsuccessful. Higgins has 5 of the 9 for Lehigh. Mountain Hawks with a couple of subs in there. Nasir Whitlock, the freshman. Berg Chebahar in there as well. Here is Cadeau. He lines up a 3 way off, and it was last touch by Jalen Washington.
And Anish, when we spoke with Coach Davis yesterday, he said defending the three-point line against Lehigh was going to be huge. Again, they struggled against Penn State, only made 3 threes in that game, but he knows Lehigh is a team that is capable of knocking down threes, in particular their backcourt players. Early on, they've been able to knock down some shots.
This is an area, though, where Lehigh had some issues in the second half against Penn State. Just getting the ball across, they struggled handling Penn State's pressure. Higgins, back iron, rebound R.J. Davis. Carolina pushing, pull up by Davis, and that's 7 for R.J.
And his footwork, some of the best in college basketball. He does a great job. 1-2 right up into his jumper, squared up, and that's a thing of beauty when he gets it going from the perimeter. That's great transition offense.
Whitlock up and under. Davis was out of bounds as he was sprawled on the floor. It's back to Lehigh.
Right here, again, getting after it. Lehigh early on, yeah, his hand right here on the line. Good job. And this officiating crew, veteran crew, and all about positioning when you're officiating these games. Ron Groover, Doug Sermons, and Lee Cassell, again, right in position to make that call.
Cam Gillis out to Higgins, who's got 7, carrying his hot hand from Friday.
23 versus Penn State, and again, a guy that was going to be in the discussion for Player of the Year in the Patriot League.
This backcourt tandem, Cadeau and Davis, you get the sense you're going to see a lot of these two playing together. Cadeau again, Lehigh daring him to shoot, and he's taking the bait.
And he's more of a passer. That really plays into Lehigh. They want him trying to attack the paint. That's been an emphasis this year for North Carolina. Obviously try to get out, play a little faster, but that I don't think is a strength of his game yet. They rather have him trying to get into the paint and either find opportunities for his teammates or get the ball into the paint trying to score for himself.
The big thing for Carolina this year, just finding more chemistry on court, off the court. This was a team 2 years ago, well documented, made the run to the national championship last year. Preseason #1, missed the tournament, and Caleb Love and Armando Bacot never could seem to get on the same page a year ago. Love has since transferred out, and again, Cadeau being that pass-first point guard. None of the coaches, none of the players are going to say the quiet part out loud, but the reality is guys want to play with somebody who's going to share the ball.
Yeah, and again, that's really his strength, his passing ability, setting his teammates up. I think that's going to be key as this season progresses.
Withers, the Louisville transfer, shows you what he can do.
Key theme again, attack of the basket. That's a beautiful drive and finish that time by Living with the left hand.
Wojcik guarding Whitlock. Higgins has 7 for Lehigh. Chabahar no good on the 3. Bacot back in there, grabs the rebound. Inside to Withers. Out to Cadeau. Inside the arc, and he hits his first field goal.
And that's better that time. They were daring him to shoot the 3. You don't have to let it fly. Work it in a little closer. Good decision that time by the freshman Cadeau.
A foul with 11:49 to go in this first half. North Carolina with a 17-14 lead on Lehigh. Wojcik picks up his first.
Attention Walmart shoppers, here's some straight talk for you. Use your loved ones to save money on wireless. So, you ready to commit to 2 lines to save cash? Have you ever saved your parents anything? No. Congratulations on your future savings. What's important in life? Family and saving money, right? And not necessarily in that order.
More lines mean more savings with Straight Talk. Just $25 a
each other, they get along as a group. As you take a look at the resume for Hubert Davis, and I think that's key. I think, though, the big thing for them, three-point shooting. Last year they were at the bottom half of the ACC and the country in three-point field goal percentage. This year, I think that's going to be huge, and particularly when you have a player like Bacot. Can you space the floor with shooters?
31% from 3 last year. Carolyn on Bacot, who's got 1 foul. Shot clock down to 2, down to 1. And Armando Bacot already with 6 rebounds in this opening half. Withers looking to get baseline, spun back. Posting up, the fall away. Too strong.
That's a great job of blocking out that time by Carolyn. Again, he didn't get he tipped the rebound out, but he kept Armando Bacot off the glass, and that's something Coach Reed talked to us about before this game. They must keep Bacot off the offensive glass.
Bashir Whitlock going to his right, gets around Wojcik, and Paxton Wojcik picks up his 2nd foul. Wojcik has the headband for a reason. Before Monday's opener, he needed 10 stitches, took an inadvertent elbow to the forehead during shoot-around. Probably not the way you want to start the season. Later today, women's college basketball triple header on ACCN. Number 17 Louisville and DePaul at 4. Davidson taking on the UNC women. And then the evening is capped off with Team USA and Duke in an exhibition game.
More on the stitches for Wojcik. Hooper Davis said that's something that's he's never experienced as a player. And you take a look at it. 2 by the freshman Cadeau.
He is smooth. He's going to be a good one. Elliot Cadeau, the ACC preseason Rookie of the Year. Carolyn brings Bacot out to the perimeter. Shot clock again in single digits. A long 3, no good by Whitlock. Cadeau quickly up ahead to Ryan. Down low, Bacot, great position. Gets his follow and 1.
And it won't show up in the box score, but the pass by Cormac Ryan sets up that play for Bacot. Again, their transition hit ahead. Cormac Ryan right to Bacot coming down, and that's another area that Bacot does a great job running to the rim. That's beautiful transition offense by North Carolina.
When you're an undersized team like Lehigh, it's almost not fair when he catches the ball that low.
Yeah, and that's a design play and something that North Carolina wants to do this year. Play a little bit faster, be opportunistic in the transition game. And I think this is going to be key theme too right here, the pressure. How does Lehigh handle the pressure when North Carolina picks up? They struggled the other night, Friday, against Penn State.
JT Tan's a big body, 42 in there. He can set screens. Tan down low. Has a size advantage, kicks it to the corner. Whitney Sidney, dribble drive around Bacot. Scoop not there. Ingram the other way. He's a Swiss Army knife. Leans in, no good. Tan almost lost the rebound out of bounds. Whitney Sidney again over Bacot. Altered. 10 rebounds in the first half with 9:27 to go for Armando Bacot.
It's just amazing. I mean, already the leader in rebounds in this story.
He's on pace for 40 rebounds tonight.
I mean, most guys don't get 300 rebounds, 400 rebounds for their career. This guy's got over 1,300. Again, I said it in the tip. His jersey will be in the rafters when he leaves North Carolina. One of the most productive and dominant rebounders in college basketball.
UNC's all-time leader in rebounds, all-time leader in double-doubles. And we get a foul on the floor. It's JT Tan, his first.
Early in the game, Lehigh, they've done a pretty good job, Carolyn in particular, on Bacot. They've stayed home. Let's see if they stick with this strategy where they start doubling up.
Carolina starting to play more through number 5. Bacot against Tan. Got tied up. Jump ball, possession arrow, Lehigh.
That's not bad defense again. Typically, if he catches it that low, he just barrels his way down. He's underneath in that restricted area. Normally, he's going to store, but that's actually, they've been letting him play. It's been physical with the bigs early on. They've been consistent with that.
Tan's a big body. He's got 40 pounds of girth on Bacot. Good defense by Ryan. Tan using his body too strong, but Ryan grabs the board. Third stop for Cormac Ryan. Started at Stanford, then Notre Dame, now UNC. Bacot spins inside. Tan falls down. Count the basket.
If you're Lehigh, you're going to have to probably change that strategy up. He's just too good right now to go single coverage. Right here, they stay home because of the spacing. Excellent for North Carolina. And if you're North Carolina, you got to continue to go to that matchup, in particular if they're staying single coverage.
Tan has the weight to body with Bacot down low, but Bacot's the better athlete.
And I think, too, again, you're talking about a guy that's up there on the all-time list in terms of points in this storied program. That's a tough matchup, I think, for anybody, but in particular the bigs of Lehigh. Again, they're going to have to probably change that up and send somebody, or at least dig with the guard and try to slow him down a little bit.
UNC on a 12-1 run. Armando Bacot, 6 points, 10 rebounds in this first half. Tan to the bench with 2 fouls. Henry Adiasa, 6'11", 240 pounds from Cameroon, in at center. Bacot gets a breather as well for UNC. This is Ben Knosman. Started 16 games last year. Gets it up to Higgins. Knosman out to Sinclair. Shot clock down to 3. Whitney Sidney, the corner 3. Doesn't go. And that is going to be out of bounds to UNC. And Lehigh in a bit of a scoring drought here. Well, 1 for their last 11.
And they had a good look on that possession. Excellent ball movement. They got some dribble penetration. Got a pretty clean look, just unable to convert. And you're trying to pull off the upset on the road as you take a look at Coach Reed, has had so much success at this Lehigh program. You're going to have to knock down some of those open looks when you get them.
Huck, that is Dr. Reed to you, Dr. Brett Reed.
Thank you for correcting me, and really enjoyed our time speaking with him before the game. It was such a great job bringing guys in. The key thing, we talked about the transfer portal. He doesn't lose a lot of guys once he brings them to Lehigh.
Telling us when guys commit to Lehigh, there's an investment in being able to graduate in academics, in education. They have 1 transfer on the team, and he's from Division III Bowdoin College.
Shout out to the Polar Bears.
Zayden High looking for his first points as a Tar Heel. Almost got him there. The Tar Heels have a 10-point lead with 7:23 to go in the opening half. Lehigh's last win against an AAA round 1. CJ McCollum and the Mountain Hawks took down Duke 75-70. Lehigh was a 15 seed. Brett Reed was the head coach, and the Beat Duke shirts popularized by the UNC faithful, they added a word to the top of it.
And he shared a great story with us about Roy Williams after that game. Said anytime you're in North Carolina, make sure I take you out for some dinner. Said he didn't think it would be appropriate right here, but he needs to hit Coach Williams up for that dinner. What a performance, though, by C.J. McCollum.
As the story goes, the team that had the floor before that Lehigh-Duke game was North Carolina. And you know the history between Carolina and Duke. So when Lehigh started hanging with Duke and an upset looked probable, all these fans wearing Carolina blue turned into Lehigh fans. And Brett Reed said those fans turned that into a home game for Lehigh. Crowd got behind the Mountain Hawks. They beat Duke, and Roy Williams said, hey, anytime you're back in town, I got you for a sandwich.
We got to get a steak with that one, man.
It's got to be a big bigger.
Do it.
Cormac Ryan knocks down the 3. He's got 4. Second 3 of the game for UNC.
And I think that's underrated. And he's just not a catch-and-shoot guy. Excellent defender. We talked about his experience. But Cormac Ryan is a guy that can play off the bounce as well, too. Very few holes in this game. That's a big pickup for this North Carolina team.
I will say that's a 2. Here comes Parolin. Shot clock again. Down to 2. They got to shoot it. Higgins does and hits. Well, Higgins has come as advertised.
And that's not bad, D. That's just a guy, again, I'm going to say it. You're not familiar with the Patriot League. They got some pretty good teams, and he's a guy that's going to contend and be in the discussion all year long for Player of the Year. Shot clock winding down, and he can go get you a bucket.
Jump ball to UNC.
Ryan, a pretty good defender. That's a contested deep 3. Shot clock winding down, and he's hit a couple of those today already.
10 points for Higgins, who leads all scorers. He was Lehigh's leading scorer Friday with 23 at Penn State. 15 a game a season ago to lead the Mountain Hawks as well. R.J. Davis from the corner. He's got 10.
That's just too easy. That's a breakdown in communication by Lehigh. R.J. Davis, too good. Footwork, set play underneath, no help, and that's shooting practice right there. Beautiful execution by North Carolina on the out of bounds underneath.
Parolin, the senior, against the freshman Zayden High. Shot clock down to 5. Down the lane. Runner not there for Joshua Ingram. UNC quickly the other way. Davis gets it back from Ryan. 13 for R.J. Davis. His third 3. And a timeout by Brett Reed.
That's a clinic on how to run transition offense. Ball barely touches the ground. Give it up to Cormac Ryan. Back to R.J. Davis for a 3-ball. North Carolina is rolling right now.
Being the best takes hard work. It takes early mornings, planning, precision, sweat, sacrifice, and teamwork. That's why Old Dominion Freight Line, the #1 national LTL carrier for quality, works hard to be the best in the game and is proud to support those striving to be the best in their game. Old Dominion Freight Line, helping the world keep promises.
A game-high 13 for R.J. Davis. 3 3-pointers on 4 attempts. He's a streaky player, but when he's on, this is a different offense.
Yeah, and I think it's how he's getting those looks. They're clean looks. We talked about the out-of-bounds underneath, no help by Lehigh. But in transition, again, you can see the emphasis. They want to be opportunistic in their break. You cannot run transition offense any better than that last possession. Unselfish, ball barely touched the ground. And then R.J. Davis with a wide-open look on the throwback from Cormac Ryan.
Ryan defending Higgins now. Bacot out to meet Parolin. Cam Gillis, the freshman, from the outside.
Davis said it. Look, we have to defend the 3-point line. When we talked to him yesterday, he said that's right at the top of the list for us. That was the first thing he said. We have to defend the 3-point line.
Are you surprised that they have not doubled much when the ball goes into Bacot?
Well, it's worked. Again, Parolin's done a pretty good job. Again, he's, I think, been pretty under control, but this area right here for Lehigh has been a problem.
Ingram swoops to the bucket. Veteran against Greenhorn as Davis was matched up with Gillis. This is Joshua Ingram, played at St. Joe's High School in Metuchen, New Jersey. Pretty good alumni list there. A dozen for Higgins and the guys that came from Joshua Ingram's high school as North Carolina turns it over. Andrew Bynum, Carl Anthony Towns, Jay Williams. And a guy who says we're halfway there. Did graduate but went there for 2 years. They got number 19, North Carolina. Not a lot of cupcakes on this non-conference slate for the Tar Heels.
And I like that. Again, veteran group. Talked about the chemistry with this team. Anytime you bring in a new group, core group in, but those guys that he brought in all have experience. So I would not be as concerned doing that with guys that have experience already at the collegiate level.
Cadeau is back in, along with Davis, Bacot, Withers, and Ingram. Parolin from the outside. How about Dominic Parolin, senior math major, 4.0 student in high school. He's already hit some threes this year. He was 0 for 8 from 3 last year.
Lots of battle away from the basketball between him and Bacot. Let me tell you, both those guys are going to be sore tomorrow. They are banging. Look at physical.
Davis ahead of the pack. Has it taken away by Gillis. Davis gets it back. Bacot to Cadeau. Withers better than 40% from 3 last year. Instead, the running hook. Withers there on cleanup duty.
That's his great second effort that time by Withers. All set up, though, by Bacot. Tipped it to him.
It is a very, very small sample size. Not even 2 games in. You can already tell there is just more of a connectivity on the court for the Heels.
I think defined roles, I think that's key in this one right here. Everybody accepting and knowing what their role is.
Higgins the step back. And one thing you'll see from Hubert Davis, especially early on, they're still mixing and matching with lineups, trying to figure out what the best combinations are.
And we asked him the other day about the rotations. Again, that was something, again, third year in, the rotations, figuring that out. Will you go more than 6, 7? And he said, look, I got 11 guys. I got 11 starters. And I think because of the guys he's brought in, it gives him the ability to be versatile in his lineup. He can go big, he can go small. And the key thing is he's added some perimeter shooting.
1-and-1 for Bacot. That was the 7th team foul. The 3rd Bube Moma. You're going to see a lot of that this year when Carolina faces teams who have trouble matching up down low. Big guys for the opposing teams getting in foul trouble early.
1 shot, straight in, guys. Don't push the front side.
8 points, 12 rebounds for Armando Bacot here in the first half.
I mean, he might have a double-double. He probably will before this half gets out. That's just crazy. He's on his way to another double-double. And again, typically you'd say, hey, you know, second half, we got 2:28 to go in the first half, and he's almost got a double-double.
And he's put up those numbers in 12 minutes. And he's got some rest here in the first half. Cadeau guarding Whitlock, freshman against freshman. Ingram, the wing 3. Got it, Joshua Ingram.
Lehigh hanging around. That's a great action. They've been getting clean looks. Again, pin downs. The communication needs to be better for North Carolina on some of these pin downs and also ball screens.
Withers has it roll out. Half of Lehigh's shots have been threes, 6 of 15. 40% from deep. There's another 3. That's good. Burke Chebahar. He's the Bowdoin College transfer. Senior from Marietta, Georgia. First points of the season. Cadeau. Left it short. Rebound to Joshua Ingram. And Lehigh's cut this thing to 7. They've scored 6 straight. Parolin. Battle for the board. Chebahar not there. And here comes Cadeau. Cadeau. Bounce pass. Bacot fouled. Oh, here's his chance to get the double-double.
And that's a beautiful find that time by Cadeau. In traffic right here. Crossover, beautiful court vision. And that's something that the coaching staff and Hubert Davis really rave about this young man right here. Elliot Cadeau, the freshman. Highly recruited coming out, and they just rave about his passing ability. On display right there with that play. Beautiful find for Armando Bacot.
Cadeau had 6 assists in the opener against Radford. I like how Hubert Davis put it. He said he genuinely loves to pass and to see others score, and that can be infectious for a team.
Yeah, in this day and age, that's a very rare. Most of the times guys are worried about their points per game, and he's definitely not that type player.
Armando Bacot has just recorded his 70th career double-double. In the history of the ACC, there's only 3 players with 70 or more double-doubles. It's Bacot, it's the great Ralph Sampson, and the great Tim Duncan.
I mean, simply put, said it in his jersey will be in these rafters when he leaves.
Withers takes a rebound away from Bacot. Armando inside against Parolin. No double, and that's a dozen to go along with a dozen boards.
And that's not bad defense by Parolin. That's just a beautiful reverse pivot and then finish with the left hand that time by Bacot. Lehigh still continue to stay single coverage when the ball gets entered in the post to Bacot.
Whitlock works against Cadeau. Whitlock was Mr. Basketball in the state of Minnesota last year. Final seconds, first half. Trimble in the passing lane. Higgins gets it back. Got to put it up. Higgins in traffic. And it counts. But he's in there for Bube Moma, who had 3 fouls in the opening half. Sinclair to Parolin. Spins it around the rim. And here comes R.J. Davis. 13th rebound to Bacot. Bacot has 1 3-pointer in his career on 16 attempts. Higgins picks up Davis. Bacot fell down underneath. Davis, teardrop. Gets his own miss. Back out to Ingram. 3 rims out. Comes back to Ingram again. Down low. Wojcik blocked by Chebahar. And Lehigh controls.
And that's great recovery by Chebahar. Looked like Wojcik was going to have an open layup. Came out of nowhere, blocked it, and the key then kept it in play and gained possession for Lehigh.
Jalen Sinclair went over the 100 assist mark last time out. Parolin front rim. Rebound at number 14 for Bacot. Davis falling away. Another second chance for UNC. Davis jump stop. He's got 15 with a chance to make it 16.
Oh, that's a great read by R.J. Davis. He has the big Parolin out on him. Just clear it out, let him go to work. Nice little jump stop. Let him fly by and one. And interesting conversation we had with Coach Davis about R.J. Davis. He said, look, he's the only guy in practice that gets to call 1 timeout. So he said, look, if the guys aren't getting after it in practice, I said, you get 1 timeout. R.J. Davis is the only one that can do it to kind of rally the guys. He said he's only had to do it 1 time. It speaks to his leadership. He's the guy that they're looking for. And they said he's been more vocal this year, taking on that leadership role. That's something he's challenging.
In his senior season, he hits the free throw, one of the best free throw shooters in the ACC, and statistically the best in the history of Carolina basketball. Ryan rips the rebound away from the 6'8", 280-pound Tan. Ingram from the baseline, rebounded by Higgins. Whitney Sidney has been quiet today. Just the presence of Bacot made that shot so much tougher, even though it went in.
I'm not sure how he got that one. Degree of difficulty off the chart. That was high up off the glass with his left hand.
Well, right now, Carolina just killing Lehigh on second chance opportunities, but an offensive foul called on Ingram.
Lehigh hanging around. I think that's the best way I could describe it. They're doing a great job. Just when you think North Carolina is going to try to stretch the lead, they make a play that time coming up with a huge charge and trying to cut it back down to single digits on this possession.
Keith Higgins has been most of the offense for Lehigh. Tyler Whitney-Sidney, their second leading scorer and part of that dynamic backcourt. That last field goal, his first points of the game. Pull-up is good by the freshman Gillis. They're hanging around. They were down 9 at the half. Deficit now 8.
They're really high on the freshman Gillis, leaving some great minutes off the bench against Penn State in his first game, and that's a beautiful pull-up jumper under control.
They play through Bacot. Bodies up against Tam, using the window. 14 for Armando Bacot.
Well, if I'm North Carolina right now, every offensive possession down, I'm giving him a touch. Just play through Bacot, force Lehigh to make a decision. No need to shoot jumpers. Isolate him on the wing and then let him go to work.
Chebahar backs down Ryan. Tan for the easy 2. Ingram posting up on Chebahar, and we'll get a blocking foul on Chebahar.
He tried to pull the chair out that time, took the first hit, and then pulled the chair out, moved himself back, and see, that time takes it, and right there, yeah, that's, again, he could have easily called maybe potentially a flop on that one. Again, the way they've been banging around all afternoon. I'm really impressed, though, with the Lehigh bigs. Again, that's a lot to ask. Undersized at times when you're going up against Bacot, but they've done a good job thus far playing very physical with this North Carolina team.
Now the expectation for Lehigh is to compete for a Patriot League championship. Colgate is the team to beat in that conference, and they have owned that league. They've won it 4 years in a row. Colgate the favorite this year. Again, Lehigh picked second.
And I think the issue, balance. Right now, again, it's similar to what they had with Penn State. Higgins was the only guy in double digits in that game. Same thing in this one. Now, it's been spread out a little bit. You had 7 different guys hit threes in that first half, but I think can they get that second and third offensive guy going for this Lehigh team? Tough to depend on just one guy to give you all the production.
And the guy they need to be that second guy is the one inbounding, Tyler Whitney-Sidney, the junior from Somerville, Mass. 4 for 13 against Penn State, 1 for 7 today. Gillis seeing some more minutes today after putting up 7 points in the Penn State game. Cadeau back in there for UNC. 3-pointer no good. Armando Bacot with the carry. Zayden High, another freshman, is in there for UNC. Bacot through traffic.
And that's great patience for Matt Ryan. Again, didn't give it up too early. Sometimes guys would try to throw that in traffic. He just waited long enough to throw that ball to Bacot. That's excellent offensive patience by Ryan.
And then he shows off his defensive chops. Up ahead, pass deflected. Bacot didn't see it, had his back turned. Gillis, catch and release. Good. And Lehigh cuts it to 8.
You can see why they are high on this freshman. That's excellent transition offense, and then on the road again, buries a 3 to keep this thing within single digits for Lehigh.
R.J. Davis cannot answer. Offensive rebound, and it does not fall for Zayden High. When we come back, the freshman from San Antonio, Zayden High, to the free throw line. He'll try to get his first points as a Tar Heel. Pants on in the morning. I'm just like everyone else, except I make gold records. That's Armando Bacot this year. Every time he gets suited up for a game, it feels like he's going to break some kind of record, pass somebody on some list. Today, he moves to 11th in UNC history on the scoring list, passing Marcus Page, who's on the Carolina bench.
I mean, it's just phenomenal, the career that Armando Bacot has had. And you take a look at that bench that he has: Matt Sullivan, Sean May, Marcus Page, and again, Armando Bacot. That jersey will be up in these rafters when he is done. What he's been able to accomplish here at North Carolina, the numbers just don't lie. They're just massive, what he's been able to put out in terms of production.
And no one will accuse him of not enough cowbell either. Zayden High cracks the scoring list. So you got Bacot, number 11 all time. For Zayden High, that's his first point as a Tar Heel. Make it 2.
I think he is going to be another guy, again, off the bench, giving Hubert Davis the luxury of depth. And I think these minutes early on, we talked about their out-of-conference schedule. They're going to need depth. And I think he's going to be a key piece, in particular if you have a guy like Bacot in foul trouble, or you want to give him some rest. The production that he gives them off the bench is going to be huge for the Carolina season.
Whitney Sidney knocks it down. That's a 3. He's got 5. Carolina turns it over. Gillis almost traveled. Ryan's a terrific defender. And on the baseline, Gillis draws the foul. All of a sudden, a 7-point game.
And that's a smart play that time by the freshman, Gillis. He could have easily jacked that 3 up. It would have been a contested one. Let me take it, give you a head fake, and then try to dribble, drive, and kick to somebody else. You get a foul. But Lehigh right now, again, making good decisions with the ball. The key thing is they've handled the pressure and not turned the ball over against North Carolina.
Higgins over Bacot. It's good, and Lehigh down by 5.
Keith Higgins, again, you're not familiar with the Patriot League. He has got one of the most lethal pull-up. Look at the elevation. That time, Bacot late on the help, and he's a guy first team all-league last year. He's going to be in the discussion for Player of the Year this year. Having another phenomenal game on the road at North Carolina.
Adiasa had picked up the foul for Lehigh. Carolina can't connect. We get another foul. This time against Lehigh. Adiasa again moving pick. 5-point advantage for UNC. They led by 9 at the half. Lehigh has outscored North Carolina in the second half. 3-point shooting has been the difference tonight. Lehigh 9 of 22. Carolina 3 of 13. They go to Bacot. Trying to play bully ball. Rebounded to Gillis. Lehigh can make it a 1-possession game with a basket here. One of the best players has it, Tyler Whitney Sidney. Throws it up toward the rim. He's got 7, 5 in the second half. And the Mountain Hawks pull to 3. And another foul underneath. I think they got Adiasa again, who has come into the game and just fouled.
And what he's trying to do is establish a position early in terms of keeping Bacot out of the paint. You don't want to let him catch the ball with 2 feet inside the paint. So he's trying to battle him beforehand. Yeah, that right there again. He's trying to get around, and Bacot trying to get the ball there. But again, if he catches it with 2 feet in the paint, a lot more difficult to defend him. So he's trying to push him outside of the box.
10 checks in. Number 42 for Lehigh. Here comes Davis to the basket. And he's able to draw the foul. 2 shots coming for R.J. Davis. Third foul on Tan, and Lehigh's got to be careful. 13-10 to go, second half. You're already in the bonus. You've put Carolina in the bonus. And you've got one of the best free throw shooters in the league at the line. Friday's ACC PM with Mark Packer and Taylor Tannenbaum will come to you from Atlanta. They get ready for college football Saturday. Syracuse and Georgia Tech. The primetime game starts at 4 Eastern. That game right here on ACCN Saturday at 8 Eastern. Last night, thriller at Keenan. UNC in double overtime, claiming the victory bell, knocking off Duke. Tan looking for help. Shot clock at 10. Puts it on the floor. Now Higgins. Falling away. Does not go. Offensive rebound was there. Parolin lost it. Davis pushes. Davis down the lane. Kick out Cadeau. Bacot down low. No double. Bacot against Parolin. Yes, the friendly roll.
And that's great spacing by North Carolina. Excellent play that time by Cadeau. Getting the ball to Bacot, and then the spacing was there.
Whitney Sidney cleaves down the lane. Tipped to Cadeau. The freshman pushing. Great move. And he is fouled.
Well, Armando Bacot had a double-double end of first half. One of the more dominant players in college basketball.
Leading Lehigh, 11:55 to go second half. And Ishraf, Malcolm Huckabee. Happy Sunday. UNC football, big win last night. UNC basketball looking to follow it up. Second game of the season for the Heels. They beat Radford on Monday, and Armando Bacot, 18 points, 16 rebounds today. His 70th career double-double, third all-time in the ACC. If you're judged by the company you keep, man, that is elite.
Elite, probably an understatement. I mean, you're talking about two of the best to arguably do it, not just in the ACC, but in college basketball, and he is right there with them. And I would not be surprised. Matter of fact, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm thinking he may be #1 when he leaves North Carolina.
So he's at 70. He would need 18 more over the balance of the season to catch Duncan or pass Duncan. He'll have a shot.
I mean, look, he's a guy that averaged a double-double last season. And
last 2 seasons.
And the way that he is doing it right now, he's a better version of what he was last year. I would not be surprised to see him have a double-double in every North Carolina game that he plays in.
Remember 2 years ago, he had 31 double-doubles, which tied David Robinson's NCAA record. R.J. Davis using the screen from Bacot, shoots over Whitlock. And R.J. Davis with 20 points.
And speaking with Hubert Davis yesterday, he said that's a part of Bacot's game that's underrated. Again, R.J. Davis gets credit for the 2, but he said Bacot set some of the best screens, and that right there was an example of one of them. He freed up R.J. Davis to have a clean look off that pick and roll.
Cadeau through the contact. He's got 7. Whitlock puts an end to a 9-0 UNC run. Lehigh uses a timeout. 10:35 to go in the second half. Mountain Hawks got close. North Carolina's cushion back up to 10.
North Carolina, but in his life, and certainly what a life it was that he led, impacted so many beyond the North Carolina family.
He was a tremendous offensive player, but his defense, one of the best on-ball defenders that this league has seen. Harrison Ingram against Joshua Ingram. And it's Harrison who wins the namesake battle.
Hubert Davis has to be pleased with that offensive possession. That time they were very patient. They didn't settle for a jumper that time. Worked the ball into the paint, and that's been a strength for them. Right now they've dominated the paint. 28 points for North Carolina, only 12 for Lehigh.
Seth Trimble and Jalen Washington A couple of sophomore holdovers out there. Harrison Ingram hits the corner three. He's got a dozen to go along with 6 boards, and UNC extends to a 15-point advantage. Timeout on the floor, 9:30.
Total by Verizon is wireless that goes all in for you. That means unlimited data, powered by Verizon, priced by us for just $25 a line. No contracts, no credit checks. Sounds pretty hard to beat, but all in is all in. So we added Disney Plus Premium on us. So rides are a little more, because it can't be total unless it's all in. Total by Verizon. Now, for a limited time, get a free Samsung Galaxy A13 5G when you switch. Only at Total by Verizon.
Harrison Ingram was brought in as a transfer from Stanford. A couple of years ago, he was the Pac-12 Rookie of the Year. He brings a lot of versatility. You lose an elite and premium defender like Leaky Black. Harrison Ingram can guard almost any position on the court. Offensively, he gives you a lot more.
I think that last play really sums it up. His ability to knock down jumpers. You know, I think that's going to be a key theme for North Carolina, a team that really struggled shooting the ball from beyond the arc last year. Again, starting off the season, it's early. They haven't shot it particularly well in this game. They're 4 of 14 from the three-point line. But they're going to have to knock down those open jumpers. That time, that's a good sign off of great ball movement to get a wide open corner three.
Whitlock over Seth Trimble, whose calling card is his defense as well. Withers, the Louisville transfer. Down low, Jalen Washington. He's got that 7'4" wingspan, working the baseline. Cadeau from the outside, back iron. And Elliot Cadeau now 0 for 3 from deep.
Let's see with this lineup in right here. No Bacot, no R.J. Davis. Let's see if North Carolina can keep this lead.
A block by Trimble. Seth Trimble's a guy who's a sophomore out of Wisconsin. Boy, if he can give you any kind of offense, you can dream on the type of player he can be.
Yeah, right here again, great defense that time, not giving up on the play. But problematic though, again, in this game, the guards of Lehigh have been able to break down North Carolina off the bounce. That's been a big reason why they've been able to hang around in this game. They've been able to get into the paint and then get some wide open looks from beyond the perimeter.
And we saw Radford do a lot of that Monday as well. Another steal, R.J. Davis, who's back in there. Davis with Washington, Withers, Trimble, and Ingram. Moma's in there for Lehigh with the 3 fouls. Davis against Whitney Sidney. Creates separation, and that's 22 for R.J. Davis.
And we've seen him do that a couple times in this game. He's able to stop on a dime and then raise up for his jumper. That's just a beautiful mid-range pull-up.
Sinclair, the point guard of this offense. Guarded by the much taller Withers. Drives on Withers, trying to use the quickness. Withers may have gotten a piece. Rebound Ingram.
One thing we have not talked about in this game for Lehigh, fatigue. Remember, they played Penn State Friday night. Grove had a practice at Towson at 10:30 the next morning on Saturday, and then came to North Carolina. So I think fatigue may play a role in this game, but one guy that is not tired is this.
Dominating in the paint, second chance points. It's because of big number 5.
I mean, that's really been the storyline of this game. You look at the second chance points, the rebounding, that is huge. That was a concern for Coach Reed coming into this game. You talk about the fatigue factor. I think if there is a question mark, though, still out there for North Carolina, the three-point shooting, I think that's going to be a theme. 4 of 15 today, 26% from the three-point line. That number is going to have to improve as they get deeper into the schedule. We already talked about their non-conference slate, one of the toughest in college basketball.
UNC able to get the ball back after Trimble missed the free throw. Ingram's got a dozen. Working on a much smaller Gillis. Offensive rebound. Bacot with the putback. So that's 20 points, 18 rebounds. It is the 21st 2010 game for Bacot. If he gets a couple of more rebounds, it'll be his third 2020 game of his career.
I mean, it just, to think about that, I mean, it's just almost like you expect it when he gets out there. He's just going to get a double-double.
And I don't mean this to diminish his accomplishments, but he's made it look so routine it doesn't even feel like a big deal when he does it.
No, it really doesn't.
Bacot, exclamation.
And that's a beautiful post-entry pass by R.J. Davis.
We're going to get Trimble with a reach-in going for the steal.
And this is all set up. Look at the post-entry pass. That's a beautiful angle by R.J. Davis. The gamble that time by Parolin, and then Bacot finishes the rest. The help side was not there. And again, all set up by excellent floor spacing by North Carolina. You have to defend a guy like R.J. Davis, and excellent recognition by North Carolina.
Now look at the foul on Withers instead, his first. Moma. Rebound by Bacot. So 22 and 19 now. Bacot had an open three. If he took one and made it, this place would have exploded. Ingram wheeling and dealing on the inside.
Speaking with the coaching staff, they think he could be an X-factor guy for North Carolina. He's been impressive, I think, in the post. He's got the ball close, and then he's been able to finish.
Trimble the other way. Was trying to catch a body instead. He'll get two shots. At the other end, Bacot picked up his 20th rebound. So that's his third career 20-point, 20-rebound game.
Bacot looking like Luke May that time on the outlet pass. That's a beautiful long pass by Bacot, and look at the numbers today. I mean, just rolls off. Hey, you know, just another 2020 game for Armando Bacot, his third in his career. And you just don't see numbers like that at any level.
A guy who started 130-plus career games. Just to give you a quick snapshot of what Bacot has done today, he broke Tyler Hansborough's career record for most offensive rebounds at UNC. He picked up his 70th career double-double, third 2020 game, fourth 21st 2010 game, passed Marcus Page for 11th on the all-time scoring list. We're 2 games into the season.
But I think the conversation that we had with Coach Hubert Davis about him, said, what were the things that you challenged him coming into the season? What more can he do? And sometimes you hear guys talk about, well, we got to shoot threes. He's a big that's got to shoot threes. And not him. Again, that's not his game. And I know a lot of people talk about guys playing at the next level. Do you have to expand your game? And Hubert Davis said, look, I played in the league, played for some great coaches. He does what he does best, and that's rebound, set screens, and be a guy that can do the little things to help you win.
And Huck, when you look at the bigs in the ACC, the 5 that you see on that list, Filipowski, O'Meara, P.J. Hall, Quentin Post, who was hurt early last year, made a big difference for BC when he was back. Well, those are quality bigs. To have one of those 5 is a big advantage in the ACC this year.
I can't wait to see these matchups. I mean, you go down the list, all of them a little different. Physical guys, you got guys that are matchup issues on the perimeter with their ability to knock down threes. And, there is no shortage of quality bigs in the ACC. Obviously, Armando Bacot right at the top of the list with the things that he can do. on both ends of the court.
And again, context important. This is Lehigh. Yes, picked to finish second in the Patriot League. Now, they don't have the size that the ACC teams have as Whitney Sidney hits a three. But we've seen Armando Bacot do this against quality teams too.
Hubert Davis though not happy that time with his team giving up an open look. But Lehigh continues to shoot at a high clip from the three-point line. They're close to almost 40% from beyond the arc.
Cormac Ryan to drive the dish. And Seth Trimble back to the free throw line.
Right now, North Carolina up 18, but it doesn't feel like it. Doesn't feel like it's 18. They've done a great job. Credit Lehigh. Now it looks like North Carolina may win this. They're going to look like they're going to win this game, but make no mistake about it, it's a lot closer than it looks in terms of score.
Later today, women's college basketball triple header on ACCN. Number 17 Louisville hosting DePaul. The UNC women, 16th in the country, welcome Davidson, making the trip from just north of Charlotte. And then you've got Duke and Team USA in an exhibition contest to cap off the evening. Whitney Sidney's done most of his damage in the second half. And rejected by Ingram. And it belongs to North Carolina.
That's just great recovery, Ingram. And I think the key thing in that, kept it in play. A lot of times guys will punch that out of bounds. That time Ingram blocked it, gave his team a chance to gain possession, which they did.
Went off the leg of Tyler Whitney Sidney. The press. I'm not sure that ball hit the floor.
If you want to teach young players how to break pressure, show that last clip. Ball never touched the ground. 3 passes and then a dunk by Cormac Ryan. You cannot do it any better.
Whitney Sidney, the corner three, knocked out of bounds. So much of this season is about chemistry for North Carolina. Official grocer of the ACC. Armando Bacot, R.J. Davis, and UNC, they're bringing the groceries home. 80-59. Less than 4 minutes to go here in regulation at the Dean Dome. And it's been a new world order in the ACC these last few years. We have seen not just big-name coaches leave. We have seen some of the giants in the history of college basketball step aside. Rick Pitino left Louisville after the 2017 season. He was fired. And then you've had the retirements of Roy Williams, Mike Krzyzewski, Jim Boeheim after this past season. Tony Bennett's kind of the elder statesman now in this league, but there is a power vacuum amongst the coaching fraternity when you lose those kind of heavyweights.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when you think about it too, we talked with Hubert about this as Lehigh knocks down another 3 when he took over. Again, you had COVID. And then now the added navigating NIL, I think you throw that in there. I think it's remarkable what Hubert Davis has done. His first year, as you take a look at North Carolina with some really good ball movement, again, not settling for a jumper, but you're right. There's been a lot of changes in the last 3 years, but still quality coaches as you take a look at one of the best to ever do it here, the Hall of Famer, Coach Roy Williams. You know, look, Hubert had a chance to study under him and learn all of the tricks of the trade, from recruiting to game management, to obviously dealing with some of the personalities. But you're right, it is definitely a different world right now with transfer portal and NIL, and become more and more difficult for these coaches to navigate that. So, again, Hubert knows the significance of him being at the helm of North Carolina, his alma mater.
And he's got paid now at Louisville and Shire at Duke. Hubert Davis, as you said, at his alma mater. Adrian Autry in his first season at Syracuse, where They're playing man-to-man defense. Things are changing. Duke was the preseason pick to win the league. UNC picked third. Got Miami coming off the Final Four. And really, in terms of age, if you want to go there, it's Jim Larrañaga and Leonard Hamilton who are the elder statesmen in this league. Tony Bennett's the one with the national title as Washington draws a foul down low.
They're going to call an intentional. And again, I think end of game, 2:33 game, really in hand for North Carolina. They don't want anything to get out of control. Let's take another look, see. Yeah, again, and I think that's a good call because it's not a play on the ball. He just grabs his shoulder, and I think that's the right call. Again, not that malicious or vicious. Again, it wasn't a whack, but again, you still have to make a play on the ball. And Coach Reed right now talking to his guys and again want them to finish strong.
Jalen Washington's an intriguing piece. He's one of the 4 main holdovers from last year. Washington and Trimble, the sophomores, Davis and Bacot, the upperclassmen. And Washington, this guy was a top 50 player coming out of high school when he came to UNC at the beginning of his freshman year. Cut short due to an ACL injury he was rehabbing that he suffered in high school. So played in 20 games last year, not really a big impact guy. Again, you see that 7'4" wingspan. Can he give you minutes and quality minutes in games where an Armando Bacot gets into foul trouble?
Well, I think these minutes right here, huge. Again, it's important for these guys to get game reps, and I think the luxury of having a lead right here. Now, look, people are going to look at the score 85-62, but really with about 10 minutes to go in the second half, Lehigh right there within single digits in this game. But you're right, the minutes that Hubert Davis's bench rotation, I think that's the question mark to go along with the three-point shooting. They're going to need guys to contribute when he goes to his bench.
And that's another big they plucked from the transfer portal. James Okonkwo getting in the game, originally from England. Spent the last couple of seasons at West Virginia. He's 6'8", 240. Louisville has emptied a lot of its bench. Jason Saigal, 20 in there. Ben Knosman. Zayden High pulls it down. There's Wojcik, the Brown transfer, rims out. Rebound by Adiaso. Tommy Conniff down low. Lehigh milling in retreat. Wojcik gets fouled with 1:23 left. You know, you think of some of these Lehigh players now getting in the game. Brendan Reed about to check in. That's the coach's son. Think of it from a grandparent moment. When these guys are old and talking to their grandkids, hey, I played at the Dean Dome. I got to get into the game. Sometimes you lose sight of that in the world that we're in. This is a big deal for some of these Lehigh walk-ons.
Yeah, and I think, again, in any sport, again, whether it's football or basketball, it does not make a difference. Some of the guys, whether they're walk-ons or guys that are role players that don't get big minutes or any minutes, when you can get them into games, in particular in a place like the Dean Smith Center, really, it's a phenomenal thing, things that they'll be talking about for years with their families and their kids.
Wojcik hits the free throw, and Carolina's brought in the walk-ons. Creighton Lebo, number 14. Rob Landry, number 22, in there as well, along with Dewey Ferris, a fourth-generation Tar Heel, another walk-on. He wears 34. This is Reed, the coach's son. Brendan Reed knocks down the three. His dad, Dr. Brett Reed, in his 17th season as Lehigh's head coach.
That has got to be happy with that footwork. You can always tell a coach's son that was a textbook coming off that screen.
Well, the crowd wants the walk-ons to score. Ferris had it rejected. Seigel kicks it to the corner. And that three no good by Jake Pike.
And looking ahead for Lehigh, as you take a look, the bank is open for Rob Landry on a Sunday.
And he's got a smile that stretches from here to Raleigh. Jason Seigel at the other end.
Just get out of the way, have a three-point shooting contest right now, but Lehigh, again, they're not going to get the win here, but again, they're going to be a tough out. Obviously, pick second in of the Patriot League.
It'll stay with UNC. They'll run out the clock. You played when the walk-ons score. Why is that such a big deal?
Because they do everything that the starters and guys that get regular minutes do without any really promise from the coaches that you're going to get into a game. So when you get a chance to get them in there, both coaches pleased with being able to do so.
Lehigh made it interesting for a little while in the second half, and then North Carolina blitzed the Mountain Hawks and pulled away.